and we'll discuss how Alita changes as a person over the long period of time. Now, I think as you get to the end of the last order, I guess, it's pretty difficult to determine how old she is, at least physically. I mean, we know she's over 300 years old because that was established in the movie. But of course, she's not 300 years old. She's a young woman. But really, my guess would be that she would probably, toward the end of the last order, she is probably anywhere from her early to mid 30s by the time she gets there. Up to that point in the story. And then, of course, Yukito Koshiro kind of left that wide open the way he ended the last volume of the Last Order. So there's some more of the story to tell, which is good news for us. In the military, of course, she was in the Commer group, which is a kind of like a special ops, type of group. They do covert, type operations. They do combat operations. And of course, Gelda was her squad leader. We've had discussions in the past about, what Alita's rank was in among the berserkers. She may have been a warrior. Very possibly she could have been a high warrior, whereas Gelda would have been more like probably a high warrior and possibly a master. But, trained in Panzerkunst, which is something that all cyborgs in the military were certainly trained in. And her thinking there, of course, she was 17, I think, by the time she got to Earth. We saw her walking up that supply tube for the, when they were going up to try to, take out Zalem. And all of her squad, except maybe her and Gelda, were wiped out. At least that's where we saw that toward the end of the movie. So we don't know what happened after that, of course, in the movie. We do have an idea if you read the manga where that is, of course. So, but we're not going to spoil that. So, but anyway, she was very much an adept, a very proficient military, type individual. I would say she would be like enlisted class, I guess, if you were comparing her to the military that we have on Earth, any of the military that we have on Earth now. I mean, she wasn't anything like a general or anything like that. She was probably more like a corporal or something like that, possibly a sergeant, but she definitely was not an officer, as they would say. Gelda might have been an officer, or Gelda could have been a sergeant. That's that. There's just nothing in the there was just nothing in the manga or even in the movie for that matter that said, what Gelda's rank was. At least I don't remember. If anybody knows of that, please let me know, so we can really put that baby to bed, as they would say. But yeah, she's she's a soldier, and she's very adept at combat. And we saw that in the movie, of course, by her. In that first fight she had with the cyborgs in the alley, she literally kicked the crap out of them in her doll body. So, and of course, we saw in the movie where she had what looked like a berserker body, and I think that's what she had, but it was a little bit different than the berserker body that she had. At least I think it was than she had in the movie, at least for most of the movie. So, they could have been a different model of berserker body or something like that. So, and then, of course, she lost all that memory when she, was basically. And I don't want to spoil this too much, but from what I know about some of the backstory, she was actually captured, and it was probably right after her and Gelda's squad was wiped out, by that defense ring that came down. And I believe she was captured right after that. Probably her and Gelda both were captured. Now, we don't know what happened to Gelda, but certainly we know Alita survived it because, Ito found her in the scrapyard. So, but anyway, Alita was captured and basically tortured and, executed and then, of course, thrown off, thrown into the atmosphere, as I think what the manga had, I believe. Now, there's some debate, in the movie, you get the impression she was thrown off off of Zalem, I think in the manga it might say she was thrown off of Jeru or actually Catheris if you use the manga reference. And of course, that's a long way to fall because I think you guys probably remember. Some of you remember that stream we had, about Jeru being in geosynchronous orbit. Well, that's over 22,000 miles high. So I mean, or say 3,500 kilometers, 35,000 kilometers. So that's a long way to fall. But even if she was thrown off of Zalem, that'd be 2 miles, and that's still a long way to fall, and the average human would not survive that, a fall of 2 miles. I mean, we hear stories about people that fall out of planes and that kind of thing, and they somehow survive it, but those stories are anecdotal, of course, and they're few and far between. So, the average human's not going to survive a fall like that, but we know Alita did because Ito found her. So anyway, I guess from the combination of the torture and just the sheer amount of time she was in the scrapyard, which was probably 300 years, or if you're going by the manga itself, it might have been 200 years. We've had a debate on that. She lost all of her memory, or at least the memory of what she would have is probably her conscious, kind of memory for names and even some learning or concepts or something like that. She lost, that kind of those memories. What she did remember, of course, was her Panzerkunst. So she certainly took those cyborgs out with that. But early on in the movie, and this was also in the manga and in the anime, you get the very big impression that she's just kind of a sweet little, innocent little teenage girl, probably 14, maybe 15 years old tops. And she doesn't remember anything. She doesn't even remember her own name. She doesn't even know what an orange is, for that matter. I mean, she knows it's orange, but she doesn't know what it is. Because if you remember, she says, "Well, what do you call this?" After she finally figured out you don't eat the orange with a peel on it. So, but anyway, they kind of, and I think some of the critics said they valued her down too much on that. I don't know about that, but she certainly did not remember too much of her prior life or any of her prior life. Actually, when she was discovered by Ito, in the scrapyard, and of course he put her core, in his biological daughter's body that he had built for her, and of course, I guess the body or her mind, I guess, adapted to that. But that berserker body, of course, we all know that story about how she fought Grishka and got chopped up, and then of course, she got put in the berserker body after that, and that kind of increased her abilities at least tenfold, if not more than that, and became an even more formidable fighting force after that. But still not remembering everything. I mean, she still, if you remember when she jumped down, when she was looking for Hugo, and they were at that cafe, I guess is what it was. She jumped down, from the top of a building and landed and said, that it felt more her or more me, is what she said. So she's obviously starting to remember or having somewhat we would call muscle memory in that. So, and of course, she goes through that whole process, and we find out, just how good combat, how skilled she is at it. When she takes out all those centurions and took them out in 15 seconds, and really the actual fighting was like 11 seconds because she actually jumped into the air. And I think some of you remember that stream we were talking about how high she possibly jumped. But I timed that jump when she jumped at that last Centurion. That was 4 seconds. So in other words, she took out those other Centurions in 11 seconds. And, we've had several streams that talked about how fast she could run, that kind of thing. Because assuming the factory floor was 150 feet long and and that the factory was maybe 50 to 100 feet wide, she had to cover enough ground to do that. It would be over 100 miles an hour, about 125 miles an hour. And we just was joined by Angelus. How's it going, Angelus? You muted, Angelus?
Yes, I was. Holy crap.
Yeah, that
uh,
happens.
Long story short, had to drop off some keys at
Yeah,
a public store. Store opened at 9, stream started at 9, and so I had to, that's why I'm a little bit late. But on my way back, I was listening to the start, and I believe in Last Order, was it Last Order?
yeah,
Yeah,
it
I think it
was.
was in Last Order somewhere where, because she was at a failed mission, it
Yeah,
might have been like the first incursion into uh, Jeru or Catheras.
okay, yeah,
But because that mission was failed, like many other assassins, this is the manga version,
mhm,
uh, they had to like kill themselves or something because, I don't know, just so they can't get secrets,
yeah,
government secrets or something. And Alita didn't do that. She
right,
was captured, as you stated. She was tortured or at least kept under like heavy security.
yeah,
And yeah, she was literally cast out. I don't know whether she was cast out from Juru or she was just like shot out like an escape pod or something.
yeah,
But she definitely like as opposed to being thrown out of Zalem, she was like thrown out from orbit, I guess, if you will.
yeah. In the manga, that's definitely what it seems like. She was, thrown out of or jettisoned out of Jeru. At 22,300 miles up, or 35,000 kilometers, whichever way you want to go with that. But we're geosynchronous orbit, and that was a manga. But in the movie, you got a very distinct impression, or at least I did. Now, maybe you could maybe say how it was for you, but I felt like they kind of insinuated that she came from Zalem. She felt, at least Hugo thought that. And of course, they showed the trash coming out from the middle of it, and that's where Ito found her, not too far from the center there. And you kind of got the feeling she was in Zalem at one point. So, uh, hopefully in the sequel, we'll see what happened for sure.
Yeah, I think in the sequels when it'll I guess diverge a little bit more further away and tell its own story, but still, I guess in a way, much like the first one, still have like a lot of heavy references to the manga.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've always said, this is the best adaptation because of the way that it's been, the way the story's been told. But
Yeah.
like, Grushka wasn't there; he's Makaku.
Yeah.
Uh, and the berserker body has references to a plasma function, but
Yeah.
you don't see her getting energy shields up and running like the manga sort of thing. So
Yeah. Exactly. Well, one of the things that was interesting to me about Alita, is that when she was captured, at least that was kind of the impression we get. I told everybody, that I've already ordered the seventh volume of the Mars Chronicle. I'm supposed to be getting it like toward the end of July, or something like this.
yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, and I've read that the eighth volume is going to be the last. Now, who knows? Kishiro can make it anything he wants. But that's what I read from somewhere, and I can't remember where that was. But anyway, when they capture Alita, and we have no clue what happened to Gelda. At least I haven't. I don't remember anything. It seems like that was just ancillary or something. I mean, I would assume she was put to death or something. Similarly, the way they thought they did Alita. But it's funny that they tortured Alita. They threw her over the side, whether it's Jeru or
Zalem.
Zalem. Yeah, then it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, at the point where you fall either 2 miles or 22,000 miles, the end result is usually going to be the same. But it's funny that how they captured her like that and tortured her, and she was treated as an enemy, and they just figured they weren't going to get anything out of her anyway, so that's when they discarded her. But after a while, at the beginning of the last order, they when she was put back together after the baby bomb, or at least the other Alita was put back together. Um, it's like, okay, I know it's here's the thought I had. Okay, I know we captured you before and tortured you and executed you and all that, but now we want you to be our agent. So I guess I guess the idea there from their perspective was, well, man, this girl's pretty resilient. So maybe we ought to take advantage of that, and get her in the tuned program, and then of course gave her that tuned body you see on the right hand corner there of the graphics. And she goes, well, the rest of the story because you and I both read the last order, but she goes into the Badlands, and we go through the whole the whole tuned arc, or the whole Badlands arc, with her, and fighting Den and all that kind of stuff. Who, by the way, Den's coming on. He's just running a little late, so
Later than me.
yeah. Well, he was doing some Muay Thai, I think, and he doesn't get out till 7, so we'll probably see him here in next 15 minutes or so, I would guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, but one of the things I was telling them, Angelus, is that we really don't know how old Alita was at the end of physically. I mean, we don't know how old Alita was, at the end of the last order, the last volume. I tend to think there was a reference in there where Alita, I think in the last orders, I think it was in the very last volume, up at near the beginning somewhere, where she says, or she has this thought, I guess, that since Ito found her, it would have been like 14 years or something like that. So, assuming, now she was 14 years old, when, I guess in that doll body, but in the Berserker body, you got a very real impression that, she was older than 14, really. And of course, that one backstory that was put together about the Great War of the Fall, where they said she was 17 years old, but she could have been in that Berserker body as old as, say, 22, 23 years old, So, and that, let me get your thoughts on this. I think she could have been anywhere from her early to mid 30s, in that last volume of the last order. So, who knows?
My opinion would be so far removed from any concept that we have as, well, how should I put it, standard human beings.
Yeah.
Because in the context of she's a full total body replacement cyborg.
Yep.
So the only fleshy part is like, well, the skin, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
And even then, it's probably only the head, the brain.
Yeah.
And, like, in fact, maybe the brain is the only flesh part of Alita.
Yeah.
Definitely the skeletal structure is probably all cyberized.
Yeah.
But because she doesn't have, because she's a total replacement cyborg, her body overall doesn't age, won't suffer from like stuff like arthritis. Unless you throw an EMP grenade at her, she's not going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And I mean, would she even suffer from major electrocution or stuff like that? And I'm thinking that because she's like, or any total replacement cyborg for that matter, to the degree that Leader is, because she has less of a chance to suffer from many diseases that would affect us normally.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe dementia is, like, if anything, the only thing she would suffer from. And
yeah. And you know what, though? I think that's unlikely, because those nanites, or those nano machines she has in her, they're going to repair her arteries in her brain. At least that's what I think. I mean, yeah, cyber blood does the stuff for the cyberized part of the body, and the heart's blood does the other. But I think I don't think it's limited to where the nano bots can go. I mean, they can probably go anywhere in her body that's necessary for repairs or anything like that. So this is my opinion. So I think even dementia or something like Alzheimer's or something like that, I don't think she would suffer from that because they would repair her brain, before it got to that point.
I guess in a sense that where we can uh, back up a function that's called defragging.
Yeah.
This is an old term, but
Yes.
defragging a computer hard drive and stuff like that.
Yep.
The nanites would probably repair her organic brain.
Yeah.
It's where she wouldn't even suffer from those diseases as well. So,
Yeah.
Coming back around full circle, to answer your question, would she even really age at all? I'm
Yeah.
leaning more towards no. It's just a matter of her experience that
Yeah.
ages her.
Yeah.
And while she existed for over 300 years, how long has she actually lived?
Yeah. Yeah. See, I think, she is, like you say, suggests she is chronologically over 300 years old. That's for sure. Which kind of blows your mind when you look at her in any of these medium. Whether it's the anime, the manga, or the movie. This person's over 300 years old. You go, oh no, that's not possible. Because in all three of those pictures there, she's kind of cute. So anyway, but anyway, that's another story. But I think that with those nanites doing what they do, in her brain, I would say, and I kind of agree with you that she wouldn't age, but I would say if she did, it would be extremely slow. It'd be maybe the nanites might wear out before she does or something like that. I don't know. But as long as those nano machines are operational, her aging process is going to be just, if it's anything, it's going to be just like, who knows, hundreds or maybe thousands of times slower than a normal human. So, and because she is a total replacement cyborg, and she has maybe her arm or something like that, or a leg gets damaged, or maybe somehow she loses an arm, like she does. I mean, she's in the manga, she's always getting chopped up in some way, and she always comes up with a new part, and of course in that Imaginos body she can regrow her arm. So but I would say that if she did age, it would be extremely slow in that, particularly in that Imaginos body. I think it'd just be, probably for every year, every 1,000 years that a human would age, she would age maybe a week, or something like that. Uh, yeah. So I think I agree with you. Her aging is going to be non-existent, pretty much. So.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it just occurred to me, just going by this age thing. Ito said, her heart could power Iron City for years.
Yeah.
And if you can power an entire city for years, then it should be able to power a singular humanoid cyborg body for, let's just say,
Who knows? Oh yeah.
I was going to say like 300 plus years, which is around exactly how much time that she spent in hibernation, and that's in hibernation too.
Yeah, that's
sort of
right. That's
rather
right.
than like full combat readiness for that 300 years.
Yeah.
And even then, eventually the nanites would run out. The nanites themselves would require power.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how else would they operate?
Yeah.
Much like a normal human body.
Yeah.
And if you replace those nanites or repower the heart or however, then she can just
keep going.
keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Energizer Bunny. I don't know if you remember that or not. That thing just keeps on going, as they would say. So,
Hang on. No, that's the Duracell, I think.
yeah, Duracell. That's right.
Duracell had the bunny. Energizer had the battery with
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
steroids.
Well, anyway, she would just keep on going. So that means, when Creek is like 614 years old, I'm going to look real old, and she's going to look like that when I meet her. So, anyway, yeah.
Let's just hope it won't be that long before we get the 26th sequel.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I hope I'm not 90 years old when this sequel comes out. I mean, I'll still enjoy it, obviously, but still, who wants to wait 20 something years for a sequel? I mean, I guess.
The Alita Army.
Yeah, that's right. The Alita Army would. Exactly. We don't want to wait for 20 years, but it's like, I put in several tweets even today. I said, never give up, never surrender,
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a tweet that really irritated me today, and I kind of, tweeted a reply to it. But, one of the knocks against Alita, which I totally disagree with, from, I guess over a year ago or something like that, from critics, was that the plot wasn't good enough. I mean, the story was weak, and there was not enough plot and all that, And then I see this tweet from this critic that says, "Oh, there's way too much plot," and I'm going, "Holy crap!" I mean, these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. A lot of times I guess they're just tweeting to be tweeting. I guess So, but anyway, I replied to that. So anyway, I guess I get my hackles up when somebody comes after our girl. I guess that's what it is. So
it's natural. I
Yeah.
mean, like, people continually ask me, how can I eat pineapple on pizza? It's like, well,
I knew that was going to come up somewhere. Yeah.
I mean, because Alita eats it. There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
We've seen all the memes.
Yeah, that's right. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be in North Carolina next week, and Cran and Rido and I are going to go out to eat again. So I think I might order pineapple pizza. I might do that. So, yeah, when I get back to North Carolina, she doesn't live too far from where my house is in North Carolina. We're in Rido, so it is a ways. I guess it is a ways. It's like 140 kilometers, but still. Well, it's not quite that far. It's more like 100 kilometers.
In fact, I'm going to annoy the hell out of everyone and basically create, like, when you create your own pizza, like create your own toppings.
Yeah.
For the most part, at least here in Australia, you can choose from 4 toppings.
Yeah.
Just chuck on there. I'm going to put on pineapple, olives.
Vegemite.
Vegemite I just spread on liberally afterwards, but
yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, at least pineapple and olives for sure.
Yeah. Well, you can get not to get too far off a topic here, but there's a restaurant there or like a pizza bar type place there in they're in what's called Boone, North Carolina. Actually, the town was named after Daniel Boone. I don't know if you guys know who that is or not, but he's a famous frontiersman, back in the 18th century.
Yeah.
But and it's called. Now that's on the tip of my tongue. Now these senior moments get me sometimes. But they have what they call the Polynesian pizza, and of course it's pizza with mellow mushroom. That's what the place is called. But anyway, not to give them a plug, but you can get pineapple on pizza there. So, and every time I go there, I do order that. So now Boone, North Carolina, is quite a bit of ways too from where Rido and Cran live. So anyway.
Yeah, I forget the author, but the reason why that name sounded familiar with me is that like it's a post-apocalyptic setting on Earth, like after World War III, and like there's just like not countries, but factions of survival, like throughout the world. Like there's like the Russians, Americans, Australians, like just
Yeah.
pockets of civilization throughout the world.
Yeah.
And one particular faction has like a survivalist compound, if you will.
Yeah.
And think of it as like the Vatican in a sense. And in this survivalist compound, um, there are their military is what they call the warriors, and
Okay.
uh, basically there's no rank system, but there's just like how good you are and how experienced you are, and they have what they call the naming ceremony, where like when you hit the age of 16, you basically go through the history books and you like pick your own name. One person, because he was like really really good with handguns,
Yeah.
he picked the name Hickok.
Yeah. I can
uh,
see why. Yeah.
and like again anyway, just quickly on this one, and one of the other characters was called Boone. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and,
Yeah. Wild Bill Hickok. Yeah. He was a famous pistolier, back in the 18th century. And of course, Daniel Boone was a frontiersman. Actually, Wild Bill Hickok was in the 19th century, not the 18th. And then, of course, Daniel Boone was in the 18th century, I guess. And then there was another one named Davy Crockett. I don't know if you have ever heard of him or not, but he, here we have a very hallowed place in San Antonio, Texas.
I
Uh,
watched a TV show. Does that count?
yeah, well, Fess Parker was in that one. That's right. But of course, that's Disneyized big time. But but
Oh, yeah.
anyway, yeah, Davy Crockett. He was kind of a famous frontiersman himself. And he was mostly he was around the latter part of the 18th century and the early part of the 19th century. But he was actually killed in the Alamo. So I don't know if you ever heard of that, but when
Heard of the Alamo? Yeah.
yeah, Texas used to be used to be a province of Mexico. Of course they declared their freedom, and the Mexican army came up to try to rein them in. And of course when they did, they had some battles, and mostly the Texans lost until the last battle, in which they won. So anyway, that's not to get too far afield here, but Davy Crockett was another famous one. So. Um, yeah, Hugh Glass. Yeah, Hugh Glass. He was John Lutz. You can get on here, man, if you want. But Hugh Glass was like a famous mountain man, I think. And him, and there was another one. Well, Jeremiah Johnson, of course, was one of my favorite movies. But he was an actual real person, Jeremiah Johnson. And and there were others, that were mountain men that would kind of explored the American West. So. But anyway, not to get too far away from Alita. One of the neat things about that, though, the American West, or at least it's been glamorized a lot. I mean, really, you always see the American West where they're shooting at each other with guns and they're killing people and all that. But actually, in like 1880, the murder rate in New York was like 10 times higher than it was in any frontier town. So, I mean, it's how that thing goes. But yeah, I mean, Alita's Badlands arc was, kind of reminiscent, a little bit of the American West. When she's on the train and she meets Figure Four, and I can't remember the name of that other guy that was palling around with Figure Four. Can't remember what his name was now, but yeah, very much like the American West that was. So I'm kind of wondering if Kashiro, was influenced by that in any way.
I think Kishiro was influenced by a lot of culture outside of Japan.
Yeah, I think
Whether
so.
it be American, whether it be German, whether it be whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the fact that he, in the manga, the fact that he, that most of the people, in the manga, when you see them, they're not Asian. They're various races. I mean, which tells me that he's had a lot of influences from outside of Japan. Now, that said, when he came to the United States to meet James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez there in Austin, that was his first trip ever to America. So I thought that was pretty cool, you know. So anyway, that's a guy I'd like to meet too, Kishiro. He'd be cool. So
Same.
anyway, um, but anyway, I guess Alita then, you know, that yeah, John Hoot says he couldn't. Yeah, we certainly can't now. I mean, it might be tough now and cope with COVID, you know, although we're here in the US, we're about to get ahead of COVID, I think, I hope, you know, anyway. So a lot of states have lifted their mask mandates and stuff like that because infection rates have gone way down, you know. But anyway, not to get too far off field here. Another thing is too is like after Alita loses Hugo, you know, she's in her berserker body, you know, and I guess you know I like what Den said about Alita. You know how she always picks guys that are a lot weaker than she is. You know, but you know that said, you know, there's probably just about every human being on the planet is weaker than she is. So you know, she don't have much of a choice on that one. But you know, you know, when her whole attitude, you could see it at the end of the movie, even, you know, where, you know, she's kind of like a happy little teenage, you know, 18-year-old or maybe 20, you know, who knows what she was, but, you know, just kind of, you know, just wanting to be happy and everything. And of course, she loses Hugo, you know, and you could just see a change in her, you know, like when she's in the locker room at the very end there, you know, to me, that looked like a different person. You know, to me, her face looked more drawn to me, you know, so, um, you know, who knows? You know, I think she's more like manga Alita, you know, especially when she kills Vector, you know, when she goes after those Centurions and she kills Vector, you know, and of course at the very end, uh, you know, you know, I think she's more like manga Alita right there. Uh, than at any other point, you know, in the movie. In the movie, she's just kind of like a little happy-go-lucky teenager in a lot of ways. Now she does fight Grishka and all that stuff, but you know, I think she's just like that. I mean, a typical teenager, you know. But she gets to the point when she suffers loss, at least the first loss she remembers, because remember, she still doesn't have all her memory back, and that changes her as a person, I think. So anyway, I just put the link to the chat I mean, not chat, in the chat, you know, to the stream. And anybody wants to come on, like Odd John Hoots or Thora Suma, you can come on here. We'd love to have you on here. We could even link this to that anime, or not the anime, that manga. What was that we went over here? It's slipping my mind now. You know, where we you know we talked about the links between Alita. This is a couple of weeks ago, I guess. So, so anyway, Thor Suma, you can come on here if you want.
Sorry, when Doris Summer said she looks more adult, just makes me think of that line where she's talking to Hugo, and she says it feels more me when referencing, you know.
We talked. I did mention that. You know, I mentioned that when at the beginning of the show about how that was, you know, more her. You know, it felt like it was more her. You know, which was I thought was pretty interesting. It's like it's kind of Claymore. That's what I was trying to remember. Thor Sumi, you can come on here and talk about Claymore if you want. We won't mind. But anyway, yeah, virtual hug. Thank you. But yeah, you know, you're right. You know, I mean, I think that you know she does progress. You know, and she is a very definitely a young woman. You know, very much so. You know, so. Yeah, and John Hoot said, yeah, she's in the locker room. I think he kind of agrees with me. You know, that was a surreal scene. It was like we were looking at a different person. You know, in that locker room scene, and the fact that she had a different body kind of added to that too, I guess a little bit. But she was like we was looking at a different person, not the person we saw through most of the movie. You know, the person that just wants to be happy. You know, wants to you know, go live a life with Hugo or whatever, you know, which I don't like Hugo, but but okay, you know. So and now she doesn't have that, and it's like, you know, she's has done something to her. You know, she's like a different person anyway. So
Yeah, leads it threads back to the whole topic of aging, in that for me it's her experiences that age her,
yeah,
and the fact that even though she's forgotten all her memories, she's re-experiencing them all again. So she's, I guess, rebooted
yeah,
her life, and she's, I guess, remembering by re-experiencing all those successes and tragedies, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, because that does something to a person, you know, and you could see it obviously had an effect on her. I mean, I remember when the first time I ever saw it, you know, when the first time I ever saw the movie, and she just lost Hugo, his arm just broke, you know, and all that, and you know, she screamed and all that, and you know, it was like, you know, she's hanging up there by that, you know, by the Damascus blade, and I was thinking, now, girl, don't you let go of that blade now. You got to survive this, you know. Oh, we got John Hoots has got a lot of problems with his audio there.
Hello.
Hey, John, boy, your audio is really messed up, man.
It's like he's trying to.
Oh, we lost him.
We lost him.
Yeah,
I heard his phone vibrate. So I think he might have been on a PC, maybe with the mic.
could be. Well, hell, I'm on a PC and my mic's not doing that. I hope. Yeah, Hoots was laggy. That's right, Dizzy. Dizzy, you can get your ass on the stream too. You know, the link is in the chat, man. So
Another thing that you touched on earlier, and something that I've found in other, not just movies but mediums in general, is crossing over to the other side, so to speak, in the sense of like the whole good versus evil sort of thing. When you mentioned that, you know, if you can't beat them, join them, sort of thing, when Alita
yeah,
was recruited by Zalem as a tuned agent. For example, it's not just any one character in particular, but it was explored a few times in the Star Wars universe, where like there were several Jedi that tried to balance both light and dark.
yeah,
I think outside of Luke Skywalker, Kyle Katarn
yeah.
would have been one that sort of did it best.
Or you mean
Another.
Kylo? Did you mean Kylo Ren?
Oh, no. Kyle Katarn is from like the expanded universe. He's
Oh, okay,
not
okay,
part of the movies.
okay.
Another one is, and Dizzy piping up there reminded me, a game that he introduced me to called Mass Effect.
Okay.
The main character in that one sort of uh, like went over to the not really the bad guys per se, but like the people that weren't good, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
They're very shifty, and they're they're not the main antagonists, but they're definitely, you know, pretty clear cut evil sort of thing.
yeah,
And like for a section of his arc, if you will, he joined up and worked under them to, you know, try to, I guess, change them from the inside by fighting the real bad guy, so to speak. And then they sort of went their separate ways. But I mean, but yeah. So looping it back to Alita, I can understand why she might have tried to change the system by joining it.
okay.
Once she found out that it, I don't know, it just couldn't happen overnight at the very least, if
Yeah,
at all. She was like, you know, fuck this, I'll just do it my own way. And
yeah, yeah.
she goes from the TubeBuddy to Imaginos body after that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, you know, another big change in her too is when she went from the, well, in the manga anyway. You know, when she was in that in the motorball body, you know, she was. Remember, she arm wrestled Joshigan, you know, and you know, and I think Joshigan, you know, I think he figured out real fast that if he had kept going with that little arm wrestling challenge, she'd have broke his arm off or something like this. You know, I can't remember exactly how that was, but you know, she seemed to me in that part to be more combative. You know, I mean, she seemed to me like she was more like itching for a fight. Now that could have been because that Joshigan was there, you know, and she knew that was going to be her ultimate opponent, you know. So that might have been. But hello, Den.
Hey, how's it going? I just got home, so let me
Oh,
go
that's
take
okay.
a shower.
Yeah,
Let me go
no
wash
problem.
off the sweat from all these other dudes on top of me, all right? I'll be back in 5-10 minutes.
Oh,
All right?
all these other dudes on top of you.
5-10 minutes. I'll be back.
Okay.
Of course, when I join, he leaves.
Yeah, John. Wow, your mic sounds. What in the heck is going on there?
Does it sound bad?
Well, it's like you're in a tunnel or something, you know, and there's a lot of background noise.
You're probably hearing the speaker. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Does seem like there's a bit of feedback.
Yeah, John, I'm going to mute you for just a couple of seconds. It looks like you may have got it.
I got it. It was my phone case. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I ordered a. You know, you ever seen those phone cases that have like the leather thing that flips over the front?
Yeah.
I ordered one of those about a week ago, and when it arrived, first of all, it doesn't even fit the phone correctly, and it's not even the right case. Waste of money. So I think they sent me something else, and it doesn't even. It covers over the microphone and the speaker, so you were hearing everything really, really badly. So that's my fault. But
So anyway,
yeah.
Dizzy wanted me to mute you, but I guess now you got it fixed, so we don't have to do that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Diz, you can get on here, bud. You know, you can belittle us when you get on here too, which you're good at doing.
So what I missed?
So, we're just going over how Alita changes, you know, from one arc to the other. As certainly her body's changed, you know, from the body she had when she was on Mars as a toddler, and you know, a baby and a toddler and a teen, and she gets a berserker body when she gets in the military, and then of course, you know, progresses from there, gets the doll body, gets another berserker body, so and so. And we just got to the point where, you know, she got, you know, the motorball body. Of course, I think in a lot of that where she was, you know, when she met Joshigan in the marketplace or whatever, and I guess they were in like a restaurant or something. She might have been in a civilian body right there. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But
She was. I can't remember. I think. See, I was kind of confused about that too, because if I remember correctly, she still had her wheel feet on at the time. So I kind of wonder if some parts of it are still motorball, or I know it's a civilian body, but I can't ever keep track of what she's wearing and when, because she has so many different outfits and bodies.
Yeah.
I lose track, especially early on in the story, whereas later on it's more or less, you know, the same.
Yeah, but when she meets Joshigan, though, it's like she's more. I don't know. It's like, well, like more in your face, or and I use the term combative, but you know, I mean, she doesn't seem like, you know, in the manga, you know, when she meets Joshigan, her personality doesn't seem the same as it was in the movie, or even early on in the manga, you know, in the original manga. You know, she seems more like
she's cold.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's that, and she's more like a tough little shit, you know.
Well, the thing about it is, given what all she goes through, I mean, and some folk may think that the jump is out of character. I think one thing Star mentioned a few streams back was the Yukito. He thought maybe Yukito wasn't sure what to do with their characterization, which you could maybe make that argument, but I don't think. Maybe I'm making assumptions, but I don't think that the character the character doesn't have to stay the same way. I mean,
Yeah.
she changes all the time. Now, you could argue that she's a bit sporadic in some of her personality changes,
Yeah.
but I mean, and I think that there's certain things that the movie does better in the sense of making her losses feel a little bit more like Hugo. I kind of felt more bad for her in the movie than I did in the manga.
Yeah.
When she lost Hugo, mainly because he was a douche. But at the same time, though, I kind of understand that that's all she knew, and she lost essentially what to her was her world, despite having Ito around. That's the only thing that does kind of irk me is that she did leave Ito, but when you're going through shit like that, which I mean, I don't know if it would be quite like that, but not everyone's going to react the same way. Some people will go off the deep end, some won't. And I think she's never really in the middle when it comes to feeling a certain way. She's either, when she's happy, she's really happy. And when she's not, she makes no effort to conceal her anger.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what she's dealing with is around that area there. I wouldn't say it's a sudden change necessarily. I mean, I get the assumption that she's probably been doing the motorball thing for a while by the time that she meets Josh again, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think. Thor Soma says that she believes that Hugo in the manga and the movie, she in both cases, I guess from what I gather from reading her chat, is that since Alita cares for him and all that kind of stuff, it kind of makes you sympathize with him too. Now, I kind of disagree with that just a little bit. I mean, certainly I feel bad, that she loses him, in the manga and the movie, actually. Well, actually, even in the anime, she does too, doesn't she? But I never really
felt worse for her. I felt a little worse for him in the anime. I kind of forgot about the anime aspect of it. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I've only seen the anime once.
And you know what? I wanted to say this a couple of streams ago, but I wasn't really sure how to word it and wasn't quite thinking straight at the time. But if there's one thing about the movie that I would have done very, very, very differently, and I think it would have helped significantly with the pacing, and probably would have cut down some of the budget too, in the anime. And this, they didn't have to do this. I know they wanted to squeeze in Motorball, which they already did in the movie, and they showed that she had interest in it. Instead of having the part where she breaks out of the stadium and there's this long, in my opinion, dragged out chase over the pipes and the rooftops, they could have cut all that out. Instead of arriving when Zapan's about to kill him, they kind of do it the way that they already been stabbed, and they could have avoided that weird little awkward confrontation that that happens between her and Hugo. Because that's the thought that always threw me off was her reaction to it, and then or Zapan trying to guilt trip her into, you have to follow the hunter's code. It's like she's never even gone on a hunt. Why does she feel like she owes some kind of obligation to the code? She doesn't even give a shit about any code, as far as I can tell.
Also, another thing I thought too is when she told Zapan, touch him again and I will kill you. And of course he touches him, and the manga Alita would have killed him right then, and then maybe run off with Hugo, somewhere. But I guess in the movie though they had those Centurions there, so that might have been a little different. But I kind of agree. But one of the things about Hugo, I didn't like Hugo. Certainly I didn't like him in the manga because I just thought he was real shit. But I think in the movie I didn't like him because he, basically, even though he knew those grind cutters that he jacked off of Kanuba ended up on Gruishka, and he saw what Gruishka did to Alita in the underworld, and yet he still tried to cut a deal with Vector to go up to Zolom and had a drink with him and all that. To me, that was very much, showed no honor whatsoever. And John, you're in there twice. How was this happening?
I disconnected. It switched me from my data to the Wi-Fi.
Okay, so I'll boot your other one out then, I guess. There we go.
Damn it. You're the one that gets the fun doing it too. giving that prick on John.
Well, anyway, welcome Radio Chaos.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Radio Chaos in the
Real
house.
common.
Huh? Oh. Just in the middle of cleaning up this kind of a mess. I accidentally added too much water to the rice, and now it's like I made pudding.
Well,
Okay.
isn't there like a special name that they give to like the rice pudding or? Oh,
I don't know. I know one
not
time
more
I
of a
was in
dessert.
England last time. I guess it was about 3 years ago. I guess a little over 3 years ago, and I told my point of contact there on a business trip. She asked me if I wanted to have breakfast, and I said, "Yeah, I could eat some oatmeal." And she says, "Porridge, then." So I got, not knowing that. I mean, I knew what a porridge was, obviously, because my mother was English, but there's probably different names for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like some pudding now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could go for a protein shake, I guess. Yeah.
So yeah.
So anyway, I know what I wanted to tell everybody. I want to brag on myself just very, very briefly. Last weekend, I won the state championship for powerlifting in my age group. So
Nice job.
yeah, I was really proud of that. And tied one record and broke another one. So anyway, I was kind of proud of that. But anyway, let's get off that. Get back to Alita.
Yeah, but at the same time, speaking of Hugo, to me that came across as he didn't want much of the courage to admit it to her.
Yes,
I'm very scared. If she, I bet he was guilty, but he wanted to keep it under wraps so he didn't have to tell. A lot of kids do that, and
yeah, they do.
He was scared. He didn't overcome his fear of letting her know that because
he never told her, did he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was scared that if she found out, she would pretty much kill him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more than just dumping him, right? It's going to be killing him. Yeah, more than likely, Although for her in the long run, it worked out positively because she got that berserker body.
In the film, in the bar, he almost Grisco almost decapitated in the bar if Hugo didn't tackle him.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm saying the gride cutter was like a few inches away from his neck.
Yeah.
That would be a little too early.
Actually,
yeah, I think so.
That does raise a good point about Hugo. Maybe he did, like, was at the very least conflicted with himself because he found himself liking Alita enough to the point where he wanted to, have the cake and eat it too. Like, he loved Alita enough that he wanted to keep her, but keep his secret.
He didn't want her to know. That would hurt to know.
He didn't want to risk losing her, I guess.
Yeah.
Until it became unavoidable. And then by the time he figured out that he never was going to lose her in the first place, it's too late. But
Yeah, but see, he never told her though. He never did. Not even in the church when he was all, cut off or stabbed or whatever.
I can't believe David's awake.
Well, he was compelled to admit what he'd been doing.
Yeah,
he didn't really have a choice at that point.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he did tell her what he did, what he was doing, but he didn't specifically said, "Yeah, I jacked Kanuba and got the grind cutters over to Grishka." I mean, he didn't say that.
Right.
Yeah, Radio Chaos, is your mic? What's going on with it? There's a lot of background noise there.
Oh, I've got a fan. Just a minute.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, when she saw the wanted poster sort of thing, I'm sure aside from murder, they list all the other offences, which would include jacking cyborgs.
Yeah.
And
but Dexter was the one who killed Kanuba with the blowtorch in the film.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Here's another thing too. I always thought this even first time, when Alita saw that wanted poster of Hugo, that basically she says, "Is it true?" And he could have right there said, "I didn't kill him. Japan did. You know.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. I guess, was it multiple charges, or was he getting blamed for what Vector did? I'm not sure.
Well, I think he gets blamed for what Japan did. Japan, cut off Demetrius Polito's head. So, he, basically, he, instead of saying, he said, you don't understand. Well, if he's afraid of her killing him, he better get out the right thing right away. And that would have been, I didn't kill him. Japan did.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the things that annoyed me.
I think the anime handled it better. Not the anime, the manga. Well, I guess the anime too, because it kind of did the same thing, where the manga handled it better.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about. I wish in the movie they had cut out the whole action sequence where they're chasing, or where she's on the tubes and what, or not the tubes, but the pipes and the rooftops. Like, they could cut out all that fat. Actually, with all the time they spent on that alone, despite how cool it was, they probably could have even snuck in Hugo's backstory.
Yeah, they could have. Yeah,
they could.
That's at least like 7 minutes, at least.
It took 2.5 for Ito to tell his.
Right.
See, but then we wouldn't have got the ass shot, so,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just baiting y'all into saying that shit. All y'all are filthy perverts.
I can't believe Dan still thinks he's got a chance of beating me, so.
What happened?
You said
I can't even believe you're awake.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said, I can't believe you're awake. And I said, I can't believe you still think you have a chance against me.
I still can't believe you talk about pineapple on pizza, but
You don't have to believe it for it to be true.
Yes, I had to go there. I must go there. I'm always there.
Well, I'll tell you, Dan or Angelus, I wouldn't have much of a chance against either of you. So maybe that'll make you feel better. Unless I could get you on the ground somehow and use my strength, but that's going to be
we definitely couldn't outlift you.
Yeah.
You could throw me over. You could throw my skinny ass over the moon.
Bullshit. Yeah. John.
Nah,
John
you
said
could.
He thought I could throw Alita over Zalem. I said, no. No, Alita would throw me over Zalem first.
I got an idea. Hey, how about you belay when I try to climb up the thing on a rope? I'm pretty sure you can do that.
Yeah, rope climb.
I remember seeing this meme a long while ago.
Well, you just make sure I don't fall. Is then you hold tight to the rope while I've got the harness on me.
Yeah.
Did y'all catch the memes when the movie was just coming out of people with putting Alita riding Ito's rocket hammer and flying to Zalem? Back whenever it came out. Was it March? February? It was so funny.
I did a live stream of like the really bad. I mean, it's a fan game and it's terrible, but it was like Angel of Death, and it's based off of film, but it's just really poorly put together. And it's just so ridiculous. I decided, hey, I'd play it and let you guys see how bad it was.
Are you eating?
That's right.
I hear someone munching.
Are you eating?
I think Radio Chaos. I think Chaos is washing dishes or something.
That's probably old Avo over there munching on his pineapples.
Pineapples don't make
Or
that
fucking
sound, John.
That is
True. True. Excellent point.
So now it makes you wonder what he is munching on.
Munching, huh?
Needs to be munching on sleep. Does this man ever sleep? You're worse than me.
Yes, he's always asleep. That's the problem.
Huh?
He's never on the show because he's sleepy.
Yes, because he stays up too late.
He doesn't
sleep enough.
I'm gonna cut Angela some slack. He had to run an errand before he came on today, so.
And I still managed to get on here before anyone else.
That's exactly right.
It's funny because I when I first popped on, was listening to the stream, it was just Creek alone by himself. I'm like, damn, where's David at? You letting down your boy?
He sent me a DM telling me what was going on. It was cool. Besides, this is not like this is a professional organization.
I'm just giving him shit because that's what I do.
So anyway, getting back to our girl, that Badlands arc, I really like Alita in that arc. Now, she's a badass in that arc, for sure, But there are some little nuances about her too. I really like for instance, when they were her and Figure Four, and then what was the name of the guy that was hanging around with Figure Four? What was his name?
Yog.
Yorg.
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
motherfucker.
Depends on the translation.
Yeah,
YOLG.
yeah. Chaos. I'm
Yo.
going to kind of mute you. There's a lot of noise going back. I think it might be coming from you, or it might be Angelus. I don't know. You know. But anyway,
All right, there.
no, it's okay, man. I'm
It's
not
okay.
upset.
It's better now.
Oh.
But-
Too much-
But no, you know, when they were on top of that building, you know, and I guess that butterfly, I always bring this up, that butterfly shows up and it freaks her out and she just blasts away at that damn thing.
You know, if it weren't for that damn
shooting at-
butterfly,
and Figure
Yorg would have been
Four
alive.
says, what the hell was that? It just really always tickled me to see that panel, you know?
Yeah.
You know that's actually Kashiro's phobia.
Yeah. I heard that on another stream, that he doesn't like butterflies or something.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't give a shit about butterflies. It's that one type of butterfly, which makes me
Oh.
wonder how fucking often has he seen that one type of butterfly? And when he sees a butterfly flying, like, I guess it has to basically get up close to him so he can see what kind of butterfly it is, and then he freaks the fuck out. Because that's what happened in the manga. Like, the butterfly was there, and then she saw it up close, and then realized what kind it was, and then she freaked out.
Yeah. God, it was
I don't know, I just-
hilarious, though.
I just
Yeah.
like
She
keep a
blasted
fake
away
one of
that
those in
whole
my pocket
wall.
if I ever met Kashiro.
She shot at a butterfly. Beautiful.
Yeah, and another thing too I liked about her in that Badlands arc is when you know, her and that and Figure Four and that other guy, you know, they're there and I guess the building, I guess part of it collapsed or something. I can't remember, but you know, she's holding up this heavy ass column for falling on him, and Figure Four is looking at it and said, "God, it's a good thing we were near the window." And she's holding this like 50-ton column up, you know, stop it from falling
So-
on him, and he thinks it's because they're near the window.
Figure Creek. I need your definitive answer.
What's that?
Manga Alita or movie Alita? And you have to
Ooh.
choose one.
Oh,
You cannot bitch out on this one.
I'm
No
gonna
comment.
have to go with manga Alita, I think, because she's more varied in that. You know, I mean, I love a movie Alita for sure. You know, but I think it's gonna be manga Alita because there's more sides to her personality, and you know, there's more things happening with her and stuff like that. You know, so
Well, the thing about that, I've been asked that question many times too, and I go back and forth because we say manga Alita, but we've seen the rest of that part of the story. We've not seen that from
Yeah,
the
that's
movie's
right.
perspective yet. And as far
It's
as the
going to be
movie's
very hard for the
concerned,
film to top it, though, because it only has 2 hours.
I don't know.
Yeah,
With
that's
how
right.
Rosa, you're right in that regard. But as far as Rosa conveying, you know, how she emotes, I have no doubt in my mind she'll nail that. I mean, we may not see
It's like,
everything,
It's like this, right?
but
So this is how I see movie Alita potentially topping manga Alita, right? So first of all, I think that manga Alita is a lot more mature because you see, and which I like, to be honest with you. I like the more maturity instead of the naive kind of teenage thing, because I really didn't want to see a teenage movie, to be honest.
well, at the end of the
Right.
movie, though, she's more like manga.
that's what I was
Alita.
going to say.
At the end of the movie, she's just angry.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's not maturity. That's just
Well, it's
pissed
not
off.
just that. She
But-
does act differently, though. Even when she wakes up in the new body, she doesn't like.
What
the
I
way
was
she
going to go
interacts
to
with
is
Ito.
this, right? So you have an author like, say, Akira Toriyama, who did Dragon Ball. You've got Kashiro, who did Alita, who did the original Gundam, right? And these dudes made some real classic character-driven stories. And character-driven to the point to where you can pick these characters up and drop them in different stories, and it still works. Like, you look at Dragon Ball story, it's not just one story. It's many different types, like a Bible almost. Different types of stories, and you get reoccurring characters. Same thing for Alita, which some movie fans have called it disjointed, when really what you're looking at is different stories in the same universe, starring the same character, that are just slightly connected. You got characters that are that good. And what happened with Dragon Ball is a lot of other shonens like Naruto or Hunter x Hunter came and tried to take that same Goku archetype, and they didn't do it as well, which is why Goku's character endures to this day. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Alita. Other movies and TV shows, and especially the Alita sequels, are going to try to mimic that, and they can get close and do very, very well. The Alita movie did it very, very well. I'm not saying it did it poorly at all.
Yeah.
And Naruto's super popular, and One Piece is super popular. So it's not like they're doing poorly, but they're never going to get it exactly right. You
Well,
see
they
what I'm saying?
can't.
They're never
Well,
going to
like
do
you said
exactly right.
earlier, they can't fit everything. I just think, as far as because who she is, as far as you compare who she is throughout the parts that the manga covers, or what the movie covered, as far as up to where we are in the manga, at that point in the story, she's not really that much different. I mean, yeah, she actually started the fight in the Kansas bar in the manga versus what in the movie, more or less is a pain who kind of like is over there like hitting on her, poking at her. So there are some little minute differences. But as far as her overall personality, I don't think, as far as where the movie is in the story compared to where the manga is at that point in the story, I don't think it's much different at all. At least I don't see
Particularly
it.
the
It's just
anime,
different because of the
particularly,
medium
you know.
and the tone. The medium and the tone.
Well,
are
yeah.
different.
I'm just talking as far as her personality. That's really what I mean. I know the tone's different,
I know what you
obviously,
mean.
but I've also noticed
Well,
the
I think
movie gets darker and darker the further it goes.
The anime was very much anime Alita at the very beginning was very much like the beginning of movie Alita. You know, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
You know,
I give the
From what I
anime
remember.
shit, but I actually kind of enjoy certain bits of it. I like her. I just can't stand the voice actress, and there's just
yeah, that one bothers me.
yeah. I love the way it looks though. Like they picked a really. I love the way she looks in the anime. I really
It
do.
would have done well if they put effort into the story. This is
Mhm.
basically like a commercial. You see what I'm saying? And
Yes.
that's the
Yeah.
problem with it. It wasn't meant to be a movie or an anime. It's a commercial.
I wonder if
Exactly.
that's why Kishiro didn't like it. I mean,
That's probably exactly why he didn't
Kishiro
like it.
didn't like it because he wanted a Western adaptation. He wanted a James Cameron movie. He didn't want an anime because Kishiro wasn't really focused on Japan at the time. And I think that's what lends this story to its universality, I guess is the word to put it. Like I said, same thing for Dragon
Yes.
Ball. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like anime. So then people all over the world, like over here, right? You look at something like Demon Slayer. Only anime fans in the U.S. like Demon Slayer. If you
Yep.
are not an anime fan, you don't like it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not an anime fan. My wife is. I don't like that shit. Whereas Alita doesn't, because Kishiro wasn't hyper focused on a Japan audience. He really wanted to court that Western audience. It ended up kind of going both ways, which made
Yep.
it more universal. I think in the long term, this movie's going to do this story in general is going to do very well.
I agree, and I think that's also why I get so I mean, I know I shouldn't even give them the time of day, but it's one of the reasons why I get so frustrated when I see a lot of the folks who really, really, really love the manga. Like, and that's great, but then absolutely shit on the movie. Like, oh, it just copy for copied the anime. I'm like, did you even watch the film?
yeah, exactly.
It's far closer to the manga than the anime ever would. Just because Karishka's in there and Shirin's in there doesn't mean shit. It really
To me,
doesn't.
that doesn't bother me because to me, I'm just glad people get the story
It's-
out. You know
well,
what I mean?
yeah, I
'Cause
know,
I
but-
see this shit all the time in the Dragon Ball fandom. There's people who love Dragon Ball GT, and I think it's absolute dog shit. And it bothers me because that's such a bad representation of the show. Or like people who hate on Dragon Ball Kai. Like I get Dragon Ball fans that despise the re-edit of Dragon Ball Z that they re-released later on. I think it's the superior way to watch it, but these old fans despise it. But you know what? I'm just happy they're watching fucking Dragon Ball and consuming the content. And that's how I feel about the people who say that about Alita. It's like, all right, fine, you hate the manga. Because
I don't know.
Well,
Well,
I've heard this from movie-only fans. They don't like the manga. It's too dark.
Yeah,
the
I've heard
tone
it
isn't
too.
Right. And I say, whatever. I don't care.
I think it balances
they're
pretty
consuming
good.
the content.
I love
You know,
the manga.
Maybe I'm trying to, like, I don't know, make an excuse for the movie, but sometimes I just kind of think of it as, oh, maybe they're just in the nice part of town. You know, Duckito's
Well,
over
there
there
is a nice
in the
part of
friendlier
town, but it's
district.
2 miles up.
Right.
I
No,
wouldn't doubt
the
there
movie
was a
gets
nice
darker as
part
it
of the
goes.
scrapyard.
I mean, I think they said they were going for the thing where, you know, you see the world the way she sees it, which, I mean, that kind of works, but not really. Because the movie does get darker. Like, even visually speaking, it gets darker. I noticed that it gets a lot darker when you're around characters like Grishka or Shiren or Vector. All their scenes are dark, except for, I think, like 1 or 2 in the very
To
beginning.
me, it's not necessarily the darkness that makes it good. It's just
Oh, I
the
agree.
goodness that makes it good. You know, like 'cause
Yes.
I wouldn't say the Badlands arc is necessarily all that dark. And then especially I guess the end of the original series as well isn't that dark either. The original ending, it's kind of sad and
It's more bittersweet.
melancholic, but it's not dark. Now the redoing of that in Last Order was dark as shit. But yeah, it's not the darkness necessarily. I just because the thing is, I'm not necessarily attracted to or turned off by darkness. It's just You know what I mean?
It is what it
feature.
is.
Yeah, it's just what it is, you know? So it's not the darkness. It's just the quality of the story. And like I said, it's just harder to tell those stories in a 2-hour movie. That's all. And that's why I said in my videos, I don't know if you remember, I said the next movie, we're going to get a 3-hour cut, right? They can do 2 hours in the movie. And give me extra shit on the Blu-ray. Give me a reason to buy it.
Leo, you really, I mean, I know you don't have a whole lot of time, but at some point you really need to listen to the Lita Calagritis podcast that Radio Chaos did, because you'll be, I was really worried that we wouldn't see the Toon Dark, but based off that interview with her, I'm pretty confident that we're going to see some of that. Because it seemed like they had a lot planned for that. Yeah. I mean, they have Den in the concept art, for crying out loud. But they didn't say anything about Zapan, which is the one thing I am a little sad about, but I don't know.
Let me interrupt you guys just for a second. I want to welcome Maxie. How's it going, Maxie?
Hello.
Hello, sir.
How's it going, Max?
Hello, buddy, man.
I thought you were going to say good day, Max.
Oh, no, I don't want to be predictable.
That's a stereotype, and I find it very offensive.
Yeah.
I knew you would.
I knew
I find you being offended. Very
Dan, yeah.
This is why I love y'all.
I was going to say, the Zapan art
we're
to
full of
me,
shit. That's why you love us.
the Zapan art to me is the best arc in the manga. I like Tuned Alita the most, but the Zapan art is the best. To me, that's on the scale. And like I said, it's not like there was anything super special writing wise. It's a pretty straightforward story.
I love fighting.
But it's everything. Well, the fighting in the manga is top tier. It's like up there with everything else. I literally go through the motorball arc actually a lot, to be honest with you, more than I like to admit. That was the arc I did not like at first, but
I didn't either. I didn't like it in the beginning, but the parts with Doc Ito and Joshigan I found fascinating.
It's great, and the art is the best in the entire franchise. That's the height of the art right there.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna put the Zapan arc kind of combined with the motorball arc. That to me is like the Saiyan / Frieza arc of Dragon Ball. Like right there, it's like consistently good to the point to where like you can't put it down and it sticks with you, and you're like, damn, that was really fucking dope. You know what I mean? Like that right there. If they don't adapt the Zapan arc into a film, like I want them to do the Badlands, but I'd be more disappointed if they skip over Zapan to go to the Badlands than I would if they just ended at Zapan.
I think. I don't know what I would say it's a hot take. I think a lot of people would agree with you actually, but I think what they could include him in some way, but I don't think it's going to happen the way that it was in the manga. I just have that feeling, and honestly, they could even skip it altogether and it still be wrapped up because she took away the very thing that he, held most precious to him, which was his face, his pride. Yeah. He ain't got shit on her at this point. Nope. She disarmed him,
but that's why
disfaced him.
The berserker body.
Right, I know, but
and it's Cyberpunk. He can get a new face. You know what I mean? He just put a fucking mask on. It's COVID out there.
That dilemma, right? That dilemma is. I'm not saying they should end it there. I'm just saying that if they want to, it is still wrapped up, almost in a way that the movie itself still kind of works as a standalone. I mean, I don't want it to be, but
I would. If they had to cut one of them out, I'd prefer the Badlands arc to be cut out more.
No, please.
That's my hot take right there. I think.
Then how you gonna get Figure in there?
I love Toon Alita, but that story is
I gotta have the Badlands arc.
How are you going to get?
That's where she meets Figure 4.
I know.
Figure 4. He's the dude, man. I want to see that guy.
That's why I said it's a hot take, because like I said, my favorite characters are in the Badland arc. My favorite Alita's in the Badland arc. But the best story, I'm going to have to say it's the Zapan arc. And that one has a natural conclusion to it. Whereas the Badlands arc doesn't really have much of a natural conclusion.
That is true.
Kind of just like, you know what I mean?
I'll compromise with you.
That's a really tough one, man. Because, the thing about Toon Dark
is a fever dream.
It's a really tough one because the thing is they'd also granted it probably would cost less if they did Zapan because they already have Iron City and that's pretty much most of what that arc takes place.
There's a problem with the Zapan arc, and that is that it's almost existential horror. It's horror,
exactly what I wanted.
Existential horror. Well, that's the thing. Disney doesn't do existential horror. It's right up there with things like Event Horizon and shit like that. I reckon that they'd shy away from the Zapan arc.
Disney bought Alien though, so they have to do something with these fucking franchises. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They own Alien now. You know that, right?
I'll
Yeah.
tell
yeah.
you what they're going to do with them. They're going to fuck it up. That's what they're going to do with them.
I agree.
Alien's been fucked up by the first director, by the way.
That's a good point.
And that's another reason why. That's another thing too. That's another point I made last week. If they did something to where they switched off directors every now and then, I wouldn't mind with that with Alita either. I'm not saying I have no problem with Robert Rodriguez. Don't get that wrong. I'd love to see him return, but say he hands it off to someone else, I'm fine with that because I'm never married to. Well, I'm never married to anything except my wife. You know what I mean? But I'm not married to a director either. You know what I mean? Like, because you look at the Alien franchise, right? And how I thought that Ridley Scott coming back would be like, oh, it's a return to glory for the Alien. No, he fucked it up worse than anyone else did. So I'm not married to any one director. Like,
you know what?
As long as they want to treat the franchise good, I'm fine with it.
I think, I still rather Rodriguez, but the only thing that does kind of bother me, and maybe this is just a Rodriguez thing, I have noticed this, I think we would have gotten a lot more, I don't know if you call it development, but I think we would have gotten a lot more touching on some of the themes in the manga than we got, because he does have a tendency to kind of simplify his characters. I don't know why that is, but...
Movie, 2 hours.
I know, but... It seems like he kind of. Well, I don't know. Didn't he make? Oh wait, no, that was Tarantino. Never mind. I'm thinking of the wrong movie. But he has done that. So if it actually helped with certain things, I wouldn't mind it necessarily. But I don't know. I don't know who'd do it.
You just have to have them reined in a little bit. Like have people say, "Okay, here's the dickometer. You're heading towards premium dick space here. Don't go there. Make it enjoyable. Just stop being such an arty-farty son of a bitch."
Yeah.
I mean, they go,
which is weird for a manga with such good art, but I
agree.
agree.
Do no wrong. I will not edit myself. I will just make crap and rely on my name. And it doesn't fucking work, does it?
It's not to say It's not to say, though, that Rodriguez didn't add any nuance to it, because obviously there's a lot of nonverbal dialogue. I mean, we've been all over all this. I don't even have to say it. But
you know what? I think that, of course, the Creek wants more than just a sequel. So to Den's point, I think if we got more than a sequel, let's say we got 4 movies, they could have the Japan arc, the Badlands arc, and the Motorball, put more of the Motorball stuff in it.
Yes. And they had it outlined for 3 movies, but that doesn't mean they couldn't add more.
And they could have a series, too. I mean, they could throw the Mars Chronicles in there for a series. This is what the Creek wants.
Well, you know that from later that they have an outline for the 2nd and 3rd movie, but they're not actually written. There's no dialogue. Yes. There's no back and forth. There's an outline. And outlines can change. Just ask George Lucas about how outlines can change with his sequel trilogy.
He went from only one movie to what are we at now? 9? Because there was no plans for sequels for Star Wars, by the way.
By the way, Maxie, I think one thing though, they can change outlines, but look at all the source material they have in the manga. I mean,
But I mean, they have an outline for the movies. They've cut it down to 3 movies, and that doesn't have to stay that way if it blows up. That's all I'm saying.
Correct.
Oh, they agree.
One thing I want to bring up that will make you all laugh probably, or scream, or one of the two, is with the Japan arc. Can you imagine all the SJW blue hairs that are going to lose their shit over that when they go back and look at the berserker body and go, that thing's a bioweapon?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how they're going to go off in the media?
I had not really thought about that, actually.
I mean, it's beautiful storytelling, and I like it from my personal perspective. But the blue hairs and the SJW are just going to lose their shit over it. They're going to look back at the first movie and go, "Oh my god, dude, you've turned a woman's body into a weapon."
Oh goddamn!
I hadn't even thought of that. Holy shit!
Fuel for the fire, dude.
I can't.
You know what, though? You know what I think would be even worse? And I know they will not add this in the movie. I'm sure they won't, because they're nowhere near that stupid. But you know the scene where dude's fumbling around inside of her body or whatnot, Chaos is, and he's like, "This is your fault."
You know what they're even less likely to add into the movie? The times when Alita gets put in her place by a man, like when her coach Ed slaps her in the face and says, "You're acting up." Whap! Yeah, they're not going to put that.
She wears it.
Yeah,
she can break it in half, and she wears it.
But yet she
It's a
just
very
accepts
Japanese
it.
thing to do.
I forgot he did that.
What are you talking
You're
about,
right.
Leah? They already have. I mean, Tanji elbowed her in the face in the scrimmage.
That's a good
I
point,
haven't been-
actually.
He had to get back.
Pieces.
She got back at him and all that. No, this is she
Yeah.
took a slap to the face and decided, you know what, you were right. I was out of
Yeah,
line.
they ain't gonna do that in the movies.
She went all demure until Ed was killed by that rando.
Yeah, that was sad. You know, I didn't even like Ed. I mean, well, I did, but in this, I don't know, he kind of had this pity thing going on with him, it felt like. But I kind of felt bad when he died. I was like, damn, he had to go out like that. But,
Feel
you know,
bad
then
for
again,
Alita.
yeah, true. And then Oomba, I felt worse, especially when Oomba got the news. I was like, oh, damn, poor bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it when
Oomba needed to
Teagle
step
actually
out of
went
his
out.
shell, or his cradle,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
My wife's favorite character was the turtle guy. That's what she calls him, Teagle.
Teagle, yes.
Calls him the turtle guy.
Teagle is the elite
Teagle in
army.
there. I'm working Teagle into my story, into my fanfic. Teagle's
Yeah.
gonna
Oh, my
be in there.
goodness.
I cannot leave him out.
Cyborg Ninja Turtle. No.
Dude, Teagle is the Alita fans. That is the Alita army. He's like her biggest fan at that point in the story.
Like, wait.
Dan, I'm
Alita!
expecting.
So
I'm
you're basically saying that we're all gonna fucking die.
Dan, I'm expecting some of your modified manga panels with Teagle being the Alita army now.
You need to do that.
I've
Yes.
thought about it, but we'll see.
Do
I
it.
need to make
Do it
another
now.
video first. I
Do it.
need to get around to making
Do
a
it
fucking
now.
video.
Hey,
Do it while you can.
Come to the dark side. Do it.
What's up?
I'll compromise with you. You know how you said that you'd rather have the you'd rather have the Japan over the Badlands. I think what they'll do is they'll probably cut out the Japan arc, add in the Badlands, but you know how the sewer fight of Alita versus Gurishka was probably the main big fight of the movie.
Yeah.
Because the second round 2 was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah.
I reckon the spectacle, the highlight of the movie will be Alita versus Zerkapan.
I do think he'll come back. I just don't think it'll come in the story. I don't think the Japan arc, if you want, if you call it. I don't think it's going to be quite the way that it happened. The thing that I actually like most
Has
about
to,
that whole
dude.
arc wasn't just. I like that he got the whole singing in the bar and the whole thing with Murdoch. I thought that was really cool.
Well,
He
Ed
needs to build a
Skrein,
life
it-
to destroy.
Yeah.
It won't be a Japan
Ed
arc,
Make
Skrein,
but
he
it
would
will
Shimura
be
fucking
Japan fight.
sympathetic and shit like that. Like Shimura is a really underrated character. I like that how it shows in the flashback that she went on to have like 8 fucking kids and shit. It's like, yeah, that's pretty dope. I like that shit. There's some
Yeah,
good
but
shit that comes out of the
right
Japan
there,
arc.
Dan's not going to get into a movie.
No.
Yeah, they
Well,
ain't going to put up with that.
Two
You know, at least
a
the
woman
social
having children and being
justice
happy? What? No, she's supposed to be out being a badass and getting punched in her innards, and ruining herself.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not gonna.
That's
fucking
one of the
work.
things
Well-
I love about her. So
Well, that's the whole thing. See, the
Yeah.
point of Alita, and this is because it was made in a different time. It didn't. This is not. I'm not saying this is a message that Kishiro was pushing, but it's in a different time. And basically, what they did was Kishiro made an inherently female character. And the thing about it is, this is what I always say, right? You make a character a fucking Marine, and you never have him do Marine shit, then there's no reason for him to be a fucking Marine. You see what I'm saying?
Good point.
You
Well,
make a
never-
character a woman, then make something unique about her for her to be a woman. Same thing for being a man. And what Kishiro did was he made his character uniquely feminine and then put her in masculine roles. And that
Yeah.
caused a lot of conflict in the story. You see what I'm saying? Like her with her relationship with Hugo, her and having to rein in her emotions at times, like when she fought Chaos and stuff like that, or when she fought there's another one she fought Joshua. There's another time when I think when she fought
No, Dad, that was not me. That was you.
it was Dan in Chaos's body. But yeah,
Yeah.
things like that. And that stuff is said in the book. It said because you are a woman, you're emotional. Not saying women are more emotional. I'm just in my experience, especially
It's
in the
called he was
boxing gym and
trolling.
stuff. You see a lot of women, they win a fight, they lose a fight, they're crying. It doesn't matter where they win or lose. it's something that's unique about them. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that they did really well in the manga, and that's something that they're not going to push up to
it
the
was more or
forefront
less
here if they
Dan
do
Harmon.
movies.
No, they're not.
Why don't you
But that's
go
something that
figure
makes
it
her charming.
Yeah,
To see her crying in the middle of the fight with Jashugan and then have to suck it up and go back to the fight, like that's uniquely her. And I really like that. That's endearing.
yeah,
We might get
Do you know
that
what I
though.
mean?
You never know.
yeah. We would get that.
I mean, with how much she cries in the movie, I mean, damn.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and that's
Man, it
that's
never
something I
felt
praised about
disingenuous
the
either.
movie. That's something I praised about the movie, which made her different from a lot of a lot of people like Black Widow. You know, and that's not an SJW thing. A lot of people of all stripes love Black Widow. I've never liked that character that much. I know they gave her an arc
Me neither.
later on and all that stuff, but I don't like the flat scowl. My hair is always perfect. I don't like that. I liked Alita because she was not relatable as in I want to be her, but relatable as in I know someone like her. She reminds me of my wife. My wife,
Yep.
black belt. She's a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. Done judo, Krav Maga instructor. Carries a gun. Shot competitions. Will break down and fucking cry after winning a match. And it's like, calm down. You know, you did it. You did fucking great out there. That's fucking awesome. You know, she's like, oh my god, I fucking did it. You know what I mean? Like, there's something uniquely feminine. And my wife is as feminine as they come. You know, even though she does these things that are called masculine. You know what I mean? But
Is she
Right.
hard
not
on?
that I
And is
relate-
she hard on herself?
Oh yeah, she's hard on herself all the time. I have to like talk her up and stuff like that because, you know, there's this whole thing with us, you know, because she sees me doing Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and stuff. She's like, oh, Taekwondo isn't as tough as them. You know, I spent a lot of time doing this. I should have done what you're doing. Like, it's like, get over that shit. You know, you're fucking awesome. You're awesome. Don't worry about your style. But anyway, going back to this, it's just like, it's not that I relate to Alita because I see myself in Alita. It's because I see people I like in Alita. You see what I'm saying? And my wife, trust me, she can get bitchy. You know, we have our arguments. You know, and Alita gets bitchy. You know, and that's what I found endearing about this character. And I think that well, not think, but I'm afraid that in future movies they're gonna look at this manga and say, this is too sexist. This is too stereotypical. She follows men that are weaker than her. She gets emotional and stuff. We have to remove all this stuff that makes her unique, and that's a big fear I have for future.
Yeah, I worry about that too.
Oh, seriously, that's a load of bullcrap.
What? Which
Who
part?
cares if someone's stronger or weaker than you? Like, seriously.
Oh, like,
Yeah.
well, that's what I'm saying. It's not what it is. It's how humans relate. You
I
know?
just hope.
It might be a load of bullcrap, but it's what the bloody executives are forcing on people
Yeah.
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
Well, they can take that. And, okay, I'll stop.
The only thing that
take
gives
that
me
shit.
I
confidence.
totally agree with you, but I'm just, devil's advocating it.
Well,
The only thing-
I've always got books.
I don't think Cameron will do that, but you never really know. And
Yeah.
Well, Cameron's
we've
always
been
been
seeing-
pretty good with his female characters.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah, he
uh,
does.
Angel.
Like, so Aliens. I have a huge problem with Aliens because it shits on the lore of the Xenomorph, but it took Ripley's character and made her 10 times better than she was in the first. Like, Ripley wasn't bad in the first movie, but it gave her something more than just, I'm the survivor. I'm the one who's
Yeah.
seen
Right.
these creatures before. They gave her a maternal instinct. You know, and so I really love the director's cut because they gave her that part where Amanda Ripley dies because Ellen was down for 50-something years or something like that. So her daughter dies of like age, and now she's missed out on her daughter's entire life. And then you have Newt. You know what I mean? And that right there elevated her character so much. James Cameron. And same thing for Sarah Connor. You know, I really like Sarah Connor in the first movie. You know, she's kind of like dainty and just a fucking waitress or whatever. In the second movie, she's like a fucking badass. I like Sarah Connor.
I don't even really like the first one. I thought the second one was way better in so many ways. I never understood
they're
why
different.
she
They're
got
completely
attached
different.
to. I know they are, but I never really understood why those two. I already forgot his name. Damn it,
Kyle Reese.
Reese?
Kyle Reese. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Dude, have
forgot
you
that.
seen fucking Kyle Reese?
I've
If
seen
Kyle
both the
Reese goes
movies.
back in time right now and meets your mom, you're not born. Any woman would drop her panties for Kyle Reese. Are you kidding me? You would drop your panties for Kyle Reese.
Right? The guy was
I
good
don't wear
looking and
panties.
tough.
Well,
Isn't that the same actor too?
But what you
Nah, man,
got
I
to
don't-
remember, guys, is it's a progression. The progression is really important. You start off with a soft, dainty woman who's never been challenged, and suddenly there's a monster from the future trying to kill her. And most people would collapse. Most people would just curl up in a ball and be shot and be dead. She did.
Oh, of course.
She fought for life and she got tough and she lost her shit. Like she got locked up for it because no one believed her. But she fought through that. She escaped and she was there for her son. And those are all character traits you want to see in people. That's what makes her endearing.
And what I love about Terminator 2 is that James Cameron's always been a feminist, and there are feminist messages in there. Like there's a tirade that Sarah Connor goes on. She's like, "It's men did this," and then I think it was John that says, "Mom, shut the fuck up." It's like it's kind of balanced. You know what I mean?
It is.
And then like there's that scene where she tries to kill Miles Dyson. And she ends up breaking down, you know, and you see like, okay, the mask is starting to crack. She's not like completely like this total robot like she tries to pretend to be.
She learns that she has a son. She learns that she has a son too.
Who? Sarah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Miles Dyson. Yeah. You know, she thinks that she's the Terminator now, and it's like, no, you're not. You're still Sarah. You know what I mean?
Well, when she works out, she's becoming like the thing she hates. That's the shit.
Well, she sees the other kid and she's like, I don't want to blow him up in front of this kid.
Exactly. And it's shit like that James Cameron did that. He's really good with making female characters. You know, I'm not going to lie. I don't like the movie Avatar, so I don't know what he did with Avatar because I couldn't get through the first third of it. But every other movie, like he's like, I mean, Rose. No one ever complained. What was her name? Rose in the Titanic. No one back then complained. Why is the lead of this movie a woman? Because it wasn't like, it wasn't insulting. You know what I mean? Like James does really well with this female character. Same thing for even
what about Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies?
Yeah, everyone loves her. And that's another thing I want to mention when it comes to this woke shit. Horror movies have been doing it right this entire time. No one ever complains about horror movies. Like, watch Ready or Not. It's basically Sarah Connor's story. Like, y'all saw Ready or Not back in 2019.
I love that movie. I still need to get the Blu-ray of it.
Fucking great. I got it on digital. But you know, the movie starts out. She's a soft girl. Again, it's a Sarah Connor story. But when the movie goes on, it's not like she just becomes super fucking hard. No. She goes through some fucking shit.
A lot of shit.
Goes through some shit, you know what I mean? And like you can see it, like that dude, that part where she has the nail on her hand, that shit was fucking nuts.
Oh god, yes.
Yeah. But horror movies have been doing it right this entire time. Like, and you know, I talked about The Empty Man. I'm glad that it had like a really powerful male protagonist, like someone who can kick ass. But that's not because it was a male female thing. It was because it was kind of subverting the horror trope of, you know, weak character. Instead, they gave it a strong character and then broke him down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but I don't know. Horror movies have just done it right this whole time, and I don't know. I just really hope that the next Alita movies do not, because it's owned by Disney, do not fall for the modern traps, and they stick to what they've been doing. Because I think the first movie did extremely well, and I praised it for that in my original.
Hopefully,
videos, if y'all remember.
Hopefully that Disney will delegate all that shit to the 20th Century Studios, so they don't have to be worried about their image or any of that stuff. You know. Because if they do that, then of course, you know, they got a little more, you know, flexibility in that. But if they do make it strictly Disney, it's going to be toned way down. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be more like I don't want to say kids movie, but you know what I mean. It's not going to be anything like the manga whatsoever. So
the thing is, they're mad authoritarian.
Does that mean the alien queen is a Disney princess?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's gonna have a fucking musical number in her next movie.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
No.
Singing all dancing aliens. That's what I want to
see.
Dude, the mythos has already been shit on for Alien, so why not? You know what I mean? Why fucking not?
Hey,
Predator got pretty gonked out too.
I'm not watching any of those movies. I'm just gonna play Alien versus Predator, and you guys can follow along with me.
Oh, it's so good. Play as the alien.
Yeah. I actually have like the first 3 missions as Predator and that one done. Just because
it's so much fun.
Yes, it's old, but it's still good.
Yep. Did y'all see that they're gonna shit up Resident Evil next?
Oh God, what? Oh, you talking about the live action show?
So they already did a live action Resident Evil movie, and here's the thing: everyone was always mad that it's not the games; it's a different character and everything. It kind of is the games though when you really look at it from like a 30,000 foot view, because the games are really corny anime type shit, and that's really what the movies are. You know what I mean? But this just looks like, oh man, this
Yeah,
looks really
I'm not-
bad already.
Are you okay? You're not talking about Infinite Darkness, correct? You're talking about
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I'm not too keen on what they're doing with some of the characters there. It's
I
like
like
okay,
the John Wick, the black dude from John Wick. He'd be great in the Resident Evil cast. Actually, there's a great character in Resident Evil 3 he could play, but he'd be perfect for that character in Resident Evil 3. Now that I think
How about
about
they
it.
just-
Absolutely perfect.
How about they make him be the gun store owner who points the shotgun at Leon, and Leon says, "Wait, don't shoot! I'm a human." That was
No,
funny.
there's a character in 3 that works with what's his fucking name? The Spanish guy. Why am I blanking on his Carlos? I was playing this shit today. He works with Carlos. His name is Ty or Tyrell. It's T. Call him T. That dude. He's a black dude with the glasses. That would be perfect for Lance Reddick. But no, they have to make him Wesker instead. Why? Just to, I don't know, prove a point. Call you a racist if you don't like it or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Well, guys, I want to bring it back to Alita a little bit here. I want to talk about the
we
Zod.
really did diverge. Holy shit!
Yeah, quite a bit. That's all right. I don't mind.
Sorry,
I
guys.
just because I'm gonna have to cut the stream off a little bit early today because I got a long drive ahead of me tomorrow. But I want to talk a little bit about the Zot because as much as I love the Badlands arc, and I really do, I just love Alita in that tuned body, and all the stuff that happens there. But that Zot, where she's in that that cat Alita, I really like that one, 'cause I like that. Yeah, I like that tail, and I just like her overall persona. It's like, Zex tells her that after they get through with the Zot, that he wants him and Alita to fight, and her response is classic. I love it. She says, "Okay." It's like, okay, it's your death. But okay, so we'll do it. Because he wants to be, I don't know what he wants, if he wants to be number one or what, but I think he has a misgiving that that he's going to be able to take her, and he's in that Physiroid body, which is not anything near the Imaginos body. So I think I don't know what it is, but it's kind of a false sense of what he can do or something.
I'm having text conversation with Cranberry in the background on Discord, and she says, "Don't call him Zex, call him Best Boy."
Jeez.
Holy crap!
If she wants us to call him Best Boy, then she better get on the stream and tell us
get her ass
herself.
on the stream.
Yeah, she's got a bad headache. She's working on a piece for me, and apparently she's trying to work out why Alita's hip looks so wonky, and then she realized that it's not Alita's hip, it's Adjicuti's butt, and she forgot to color it in.
Oh no!
So there was a bit of chuckling going on there from both of us.
I'm curious to see that one. That's interesting.
Yeah, it should be good when it's finished.
Motorball. I don't think Corinne's done a motorball one, huh?
No, she's been struggling a little bit with the detail.
I imagine it'd be difficult to do. I've been wanting to go back to drawing Alita again, but I've not got around to it again yet.
Hey, before we close up Shop Creaky, we got to advertise for tomorrow.
Oh no, we're not going to close up yet. I just don't.
No,
want
I'm just saying, schedule it in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I intend to. I've already got slides set up for it. So
I forgot what the topic was for tomorrow.
it's Methuselahization.
Oh damn! I'm gonna be working, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Shit.
I wish I could be there on that.
I'm
Yeah, me
disappointed that
too.
Creaky won't be there because he's our resident example of Methuselahization.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, really.
800 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. People call me
Yeah.
Methuselah, but I don't think
Is that
they
the one where
mean
y'all
that.
are going to be discussing the real life impacts of if that were to happen or something? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I've read the title,
You're
but-
gonna miss Jaya because he's coming on.
Oh,
Oh
damn.
damn it! I might be able to listen to it, but I don't think I'll be able to hop on,
Yeah,
which is a damn
I'll be
shame
in
because
the-
I loved that subject.
Yeah, I'll be listening to it, over my phone, but yeah, I can't get on it and drive.
The ever longing search for eternal life through machines. We'll see how well that goes.
Maxie, it's funny you mentioned that because we were talking early on. I said, when I'm 614 years old and I meet Alita, she's going to look like she looks now, and I'm going to be 614 years old.
Well, she's going to be half your age, man, so it's not quite that bad.
Well, she's going to be more than half my age.
Just slightly.
You always wonder, like, it's kind of a random thought, but I was looking at the manga pic that you have in the Alita Topics page on the YouTube, and I wonder, is her face at all, like, is there anything biological about her face, or is it just, like, just fake skin?
Well, what I think it is that, how in the Terminator, I think, Kyle Reese says that they grow skin for the cyborgs. I think that's what they've done with Alita. They've got the technology to grow human skin, and they put it on her. Because I don't know. I
always wondered about that
in both the original manga and in Last Order. Like, there's actual cracks in it.
Wait, in her face? What? I don't remember her face ever getting scratched up. That's what I was thinking about it.
Look at the first page, the first chapter where he finds her and he's like hooked her up and everything. There's cracks in her face, and then in Last Order as well. And then remember when she dies the second time in Last Order? I think she cracks, and then her whole head cracks.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I know it's funny in the movie. She never she kept that face immaculate in the movie, except for when she went down the underworld. But that little dirty. I'm actually glad they did that because I remember in the trailers it was like there was no any like wear and tear on her at all down there, and you'd think that she would have that, and then they went and changed it for the movie, and I'm really glad they did that.
Dan, are you saying that Alita in the movie is not? Or even in the manga for that matter, are you saying that her skin is not biological? Are you saying is it synthetic?
I don't know about the movie, but I know in the manga she's basically a robot.
In the Last Order, she is.
But you see, it could be the sort of construction that a Terminator is, except instead of a chip. Actually, the Alita we follow in Last Order is basically a Terminator.
It depends. I think whatever
she's all artificial. It's not like Android 18 where she can have a kid. She's artificial. True. Like she's tough, hard.
Android 18 is closer to being like that thing, I guess you could say. And what's that show? Raised by Wolves, I think.
But Alita in the original manga though, Dan, she's got a human brain. So
I was just saying that she's a brain. That's why they called her a brain in a box.
Yeah,
Eli. She's quite literally artificial and in a brain.
Yeah.
Right. It's pretty much the same thing Ghost in the Shell with the main Major.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A brain in a very cute box.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
A cute box that can rip you in half.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rip your arm off and beat you with a wet end.
At least I'm glad they didn't make her head really huge like they do in the manga.
I've really noticed it being that big. I mean,
the
her hair is
anime,
poofy, but
the anime head is quite big.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of see it. I'm looking at the picture in the bottom left. It is a little big.
You guys get these pictures. We can share screens,
Oh, I'm looking at just at the YouTube page that you got up. Like on like the 4 pictures you have where she's in the Erm ship, motorboat.
Yeah.
I really, really like the way she looks in the beginning of Last Order, particularly. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually think the beginning of Last Order is some of the nicest art in the series, besides Motorball.
That's why I always say you imagine us overtuned. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, I like both, but
well, that granted that's kind of a drawing there, but that picture in the right corner, upper corner there, that's pretty good.
The thing I always found interesting about the TubeBuddy though is I think, I don't want to get too weird with this, but is that she wore like actual like armor plating and stuff, and I think under that, I don't know what the TubeBuddy is made of or if it's partly organic, but there's definitely some give to some parts of her. Because
yeah, it's a
Chaos
soft
was having
body.
all kinds of fun. That's that right. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't
no,
tell. Is
zips
that
it up.
flesh or
nothing
what?
like that.
She
It was
zips
just,
it
it
up.
was just, it's that scene just got ripped off with Matrix Reloaded. It was just reaching inside to fix the parts.
I mean,
I don't know. I think he was
there
trying to
seemed to be a
seduce
little
her
bit
myself.
of give, right? Like, oh, what's his name? Chaos was getting all kinds of give with that. So
Well, he was trying to seduce her too. You know, I mean, boy,
She's
that
over here
shit didn't
dreaming
work
of
out,
Ito.
did it? And
Nah,
she
she
swatted
slapped
the
his
shit
ass.
out of him. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
wouldn't.
don't know.
You know, if you ever ran into anybody like Alita like that, you wouldn't want to do something like that because she could.
Yeah,
break
there
you in
ain't
half.
that whole section is not going to be in the movies. No way.
Yeah, there's no way that's. gonna
Although,
happen.
if they were to do it, they definitely have her kick his ass.
Yeah,
This is your fault. It's some
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah. That's right. What?
So Cranberry says, "Tell them I said hello, and they better speak well of my boy." She says
we ought to
maybe-
start calling him just AR6. You know, is what we
Yeah,
ought
she
to
says
Zax needs to get
maybe another
himself-
time this month is pretty packed.
Zax needs to get some dental work done. That boy over there with the damn shark teeth going.
Yeah.
He needs a blaze of glory.
I didn't really like him at first, but honestly, over time he kind of grew on me.
Yeah, I think so. He did me too.
Like his whole just constant search to fight her. It's like, dude, just leave it be.
Yeah, you really don't want to do that.
Well, he seems about as ridiculous as Deadpool, I guess.
You know what? I kind of wondered who he reminded me of, and it's actually not a bad comparison.
Yeah,
He does kind of have that attitude, a little bit, maybe not completely, but
I like his attitude when he's fighting Zeka. Yeah,
kick to the moon.
that's right.
At least I think it was Zeka that got kicked to the moon. I don't remember.
What I
All
call
right,
that?
guys. Any other storylines or anything here? We didn't cover any of her battles with Erica. You know, I mean, Erica. They start out almost like sisters because I believe they think they were sisters. You know, but
Mhm.
then of course as time goes on, they discover no, they're not really sisters. You know, and then
I think it was more wishful thinking. They were looking for belonging.
yeah, that's
And
right.
you just
Yeah,
sort of, when you're young, you just tell yourself stuff and you start believing it.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
he ain't wrong about that.
And when
Yeah,
Erica
actually,
becomes-
go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, when Erica becomes a necro soldier, that's that Alita, telling her, I killed you 300 or 200 years ago or whatever it was. That was probably like that one too.
I've not gotten
What
that
are they
far into
called
this.
again?
The who?
Necro
Again,
soldier.
necro soldier.
Like, is it the Jar or something like that?
Some
Like
kind
that.
of Curse of Mars. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's in Mars Chronicles, but
My only thing I'm saying
it's
is
in that second volume.
I'm wondering how much it's related to Methuselahization, just because almost everything bad that happens throughout this universe happens because people don't worry that they're gonna get old and die anymore. Like feeding kids to the people on Venus.
Oh shit! I'd
I've not-
forgotten about that.
I've
Yeah,
not
I had
gotten
to.
far.
They
I've
don't
not
care
gotten
about
that far
having
into the
kids because
story,
they don't
but
worry about getting old and dying. That's what went wrong.
it reminds me of something actually. I've not gotten that far into the story, but I
And
know
there's
some of the
there's
spoilers.
just a lot of questions from last story. that I have.
Jar. That's the one.
Such
Do
as-
you
No, go ahead.
have y'all heard? I don't know. I can't remember where I saw this. It may have been Facebook in one of the Alita groups, or maybe not. I don't remember, but. There's something going around where apparently Keto is ending Mars Chronicle with volume 8 or not.
Yeah,
Is
8.
that actually true?
I don't know. I heard that too.
Because
I
if
don't
that's
believe it
actually
till
the
I
case,
see
I don't know
confirmation.
how he's going to wrap this up. With introducing all these new things and unanswered questions. I don't know. That's something I heard. But I'm
He
glad
wants to
you
go
saw that
finish
too.
Aqua Knight from like 10 years ago.
I don't know. I hope he doesn't rush the ending. Pull a Promised Neverland on us.
Yeah.
What if he?
I know
doesn't
he can pull a last season of Game of Thrones on us instead.
How about
Better
he
not.
just pulls a Dark Knight Rises where you think Yoko's dead, but there's a hint that maybe she isn't. I don't know.
I don't know. I've not, like I said, I've not gotten that. I'm not that far in Mars Chronicle. I just know that there's a lot of things that he's introduced in the past few volumes. Like you mentioned, the Necro Soldiers, and it's like it seems like he's introducing more new things. And then if you're going to be wrapping up that soon, why do you keep introducing new shit?
Yeah.
I don't.
Did
get
he ever
that.
finish
They were
Aqua
introducing new things up until the ending. I mean, the huge.
I don't know. There's one guy I can think of who might be.
Look at the last 3 volumes of the original series. It gets all sorts of weird. Like they rip off Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen with Chaos or something. Basically, that's what it looks like if there's color. It basically looks like Dr. Manhattan with hair after he gets after Nova kills him.
Ray or Radio Chaos, did he ever finish Aqua Knight?
No. He
I
says
gave
he wants
up
to
on it.
finish
So
it.
you've got a man who has a problem with finishing.
That's what she said.
Oh God,
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
had to do that, didn't you? I bet Davo finishes on his pineapple and pizza.
Well, you know what they say.
That's what the little
pineapple
holes
makes-
for in the pineapple slices. You know what I mean?
Oh God,
You hadn't
Nasty.
picked that up already?
Oh, Jesus. That's a mental image I could have done without.
Every man,
Yeah, when you open up the tin, where do you think I put the pineapple?
every
Davo went
normal
from
man is born with a pineapple core. You just gotta realize that.
Davo went from grapefruit technique to pineapple technique.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God. Oh.
Sausage pizza has nothing on pineapple pizza.
Mm-hmm. I'll take my jalapenos and go home.
All right, we got somebody that likes to burn things here, and my guess it's Cran. Who's on here that likes to burn
No,
things?
it's not.
Someone-
It's Jeff.
Oh, it's Jeff.
Oh, just
Jeffrey!
Jeff. Fuck.
All right,
God damn it.
Kunstler.
Jeff.
Jeff is
Jeff.
muted, I think. Oh, we lost him. Oh, man.
Oh.
Damn.
Jeff is here. Jeff is gone. Jeff is here.
I thought that was Cran, going to
He's
get on.
probably in
about,
his garage.
degrading her boy, Zex. I thought she was going to come on and get it.
Nah, she's got a bad headache. She had to stop
Oh.
farting, and she's got to just wind down.
Zex has bad teeth. My hot take.
Yes. He looks like Bruce the shark from Jaws.
Zex
Why?
is all stirred up
James
inside. My
Bond.
hot take.
You over there with a nail filer on his teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Sluggy. Sluggy's in the chat. Text chat.
Yeah,
I
Sluggy's
see
been there
that.
for a little while. Yeah.
By the
What's
way,
up, Kunstler?
Creek, oh, he's back?
Yeah, he's back.
Creek, you're not going to escape me tonight, okay?
I'm not
just
gonna
reminding
escape you.
bef-
Well, we
before
can.
you take off. You're giving me your Google Drive thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I got to give you a link,
Yeah.
don't I? So you can. So you can share the Dragon Ball Z stuff with me. Yeah, I was going to ask
All
you
of them.
about that too, Dan. That guy that you had that was fighting Goku, was that Superman archetype you were talking about?
Well, which guy?
Well, that one guy he was fighting. It was just. It might have been today or could have been yesterday. That it looked like he was, looked like he was kind of kicking Goku's ass, but Goku powered up a little bit more.
Oh,
and
you're talking
knocked
about,
him-
no, that's the Broly movie.
Oh, that's the Broly movie. Oh, okay.
That's the one that came out around the time Alita did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the latest movie. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
I
not
gotta-
the archetype. That was an old Dragon Ball Z character that was kind of shit, but also kind of cool at the same time because of how shit he was. And they
Yeah.
decided
What?
to remake him.
Yeah.
They rebooted him into something that's a little less shit, but now it's just mundane. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
just made
yeah.
him into Hulk. So, I don't know. But back to Alita.
Yes. See, I'm gonna have to get on here. Well, I'll do this after we get off here. I'll give you the link so you can. There's Kunstler.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm getting off right now.
Hello.
All right.
Jeff.
Hello, Jeff.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, we got as many people on the stream here as we do in the chat. So no, they got
Hello,
one more.
chat.
There's one more in the chat than there is in the stream.
Got to get that weekly Alita love going on.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
It's like my medicine these days.
You take medicine?
I said Alita is my medicine.
Oh, yes. Yes, I agree. Matter of fact, Maxie, before my competition, he told me I needed to channel Alita, which is what I did, you know. It helped. It helps. Yeah, it does. Because I was nervous, kind of nervous the night before, you know, but.
You just need to go WWAD. What would Alita do? She'd probably
Yeah, that's
kill
right.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah, she killed them. Should I do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I know I just have to. I gotta make a phone call. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, Chaos, we're probably. Oh, that was Jeff. That wasn't Chaos.
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to have to end the stream here pretty soon. So.
Hey, Chaos.
Yeah.
You want to come talk about Methuselization tomorrow?
Sure.
God, I wish I could be there for
tell you
that.
how I believe it should all be just how I suspect it's related to why the necro plague and it's the cause of everything bad. Tracer Tong was right. Now I'll explain who Tracer Tong is later.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to be there. I'm probably going to be around Kansas City somewhere tomorrow. So.
Oh, shit! You get to go say hi to Hugo.
That city for me.
No, I ain't saying hi to Hugo. Hugo can kiss my ass.
He's like somewhere splatted on the ground. Yeah. He looks like grape jelly and a bunch of mechanical parts.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeez. You're all funny.
Yeah, he's ready for the reclamation facility. All right, we got Kunstler back.
That's only one hell of a warranty claim against Ito.
I was about to say the same thing, Dan. Kunstler.
Yeah, nice. I almost did it.
Nice save. I heard that.
Kunstler. You got those umlauts over that U, so it's got to be Kunstler.
Kunstler.
Yeah.
Well, we all know how Dizzy says it.
Das is
right.
Kanzler. You're a Kanzler, mate.
Yeah, Dizzy's not in the. Yeah, Dizzy. It's been a while since he's. It's been an hour. He's probably off.
Dizzy's a little dizzy right now.
Yeah. He probably went off to sink the Bismarck after his cup of coffee.
What, is he doing that is he doing that World of Warships? Is that what he's doing?
No. Sink the Bismarck is slang for something completely different.
Oh,
well, we don't know what the hell that means. You got to explain.
No, we don't.
What my son would call a number 2.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, good. Bathroom humor on the stream. I love it.
Yeah, bathroom humor everywhere. It's an all ages thing. Every male from 2 years old to 200 years old will laugh at a good shit joke as long as it's
you can say that the stream has, or you can say that things have gone up shit creek.
Yeah, you could say that.
We have no paddle.
John.
The paddle, it does nothing.
Creek.
Up shit creek. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, a bit forced.
That's all right. No, that's all right.
What a load of crap.
Oh my god.
Well, guys, I'm going to have to bring the stream to a close. But we can do a little bit of an after stream because I got to get ready to go tomorrow. Maxie, I'll try to get on, but I can't promise. It'll probably be like that time I was on before. I was on, on my phone. It didn't do too well,
We may be a bit quiet for regulars. Angelus, you did the show notes and you haven't even notified whether or not you're going to be on, man.
Oh, whoops!
Imagine that.
Yeah, I got to put on there.
I already fixed yours, Craigie.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay, guys. Well, anyway, tomorrow we've kind of beat around the bush on this quite. Oh, I hate to get off those pictures. Every one of them. That's a pretty girl. But anyway, moving right along. And of course, we talked about everything, including stuff that wasn't Alita, but that's cool. I don't mind that one little bit. This is Our Lady right here. without her, Alita's not the same, So Rosa's, I say this every week, she's number one in my book, Jack. She definitely is. So anyway, why is this image here? Well, that's because I like it, and as Angelus would say, I'm running the stream. That's why it's here, because I'm only here for our girl and the Elite Army. Maxie, you want to go ahead and talk about the Radio Chaos stream tomorrow, what we're going to be talking about, and of course,
So we're going to have the venerable Jaya Nice Day on. He's going to be talking with us about Methuselization. If you haven't read Last Order, it is the process by which you become immortal, and you only die by misadventure, which of course in Kishiro's writing there's plenty of, but you won't get old and die of old age. Basically, cellular degeneration and death does not occur.
Yes.
But then, of course, that creates a population that can only grow. It barely shrinks. And then, of course, you have the problem of, what do you now that you're not going to die, do you want children? Do you want to be filling the place up and running out of resources? So the value of children, obviously, in a situation like that has changed. And I was just having a think while the conversation was going here that there's a number of other movies that have people who, have found ways to cheat death and live forever. And maybe one day we'll do another stream about Methuselization that you can be on, Creaky, and talk about movies like Jupiter Ascending. Do you remember that one?
Damn, that's been a long time since that one.
Well, there's another one too, that Jupiter's Legacy. I don't know if you saw that series. I mean, the superheroes in that thing are like 120 years old, because they are superheroes. They're superhuman. So
Well, in Jupiter Ascending, which was supposed to be like a series of movies, but they didn't. The first one didn't do so well. Did much worse than the lead, I will add. But the whole reason Earth was there was to be harvested to create drugs that kept people living forever, like the elites of this alien civilization.
Yeah.
So, like they were going to harvest the entire Earth, kill off all the people, and use a very small portion of their bodies to create these drugs to keep them alive forever. So, it's a theme that goes on in a lot of sci-fi. There's a particularly good episode of the second season of Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, which has a thing about the equivalent of Methuselization has been invented, and now unregistered children are illegals and have to be terminated. It's rough. It is rough.
Damn.
That was probably the roughest one there. There's also one there called Snow in the Desert, which basically has an Alita-like character in it. So worth checking out that show if you haven't seen it yet.
I've not got around to watching that. It wasn't, actually it brings up a point where you close things up. Wasn't back when, what's his name? Josh, good actor. Jai Courtney. Wasn't he supposed to be doing some mocap for that for some episodes that were coming out for that show? But I don't recall hearing any more about that. Makes you wonder.
That would be an IMDb search, I think.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Good point. Damn, I get my hopes up. I'm getting my hopes up.
Everybody tune in to Radio Chaos tomorrow, and it's going to be, and Creaky's going to get this right, 9 p.m. GMT. Is that right, Maxie?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Because I know I screwed my time up today. I originally started at 3 because I didn't think Angelus was going to make it, and I knew I was going to have to drive. But Angelus said, "Oh, I'm going to make it. So I said, "Okay, I'll make it 5 then." And then I forgot to change it. So, but anyway, we got it all corrected and all that good old stuff. So, all righty then. So I guess like we do at the end of every stream, not just the Radio Chaos stream, but this stream too, we all have our call to action, which is going to be that new one that we have, make those sequels, baby. That's what we want to do. So on my count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Make those
sequels, baby. All right, we'll see you guys next week and hopefully tomorrow too.